first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of it. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with a SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But and to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today. Time.
We can't hear you. We can't hear you, bro.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Not the hookah. You think she Drake? That might be the most light-skinned thing I ever seen on the Lapeef Network.
Man, is that a dildo? What is that, Aisha? Oh, okay.
Not two hookahs. Oh, wow. It's two. Not just. I thought it was one hookah. I see two of them now. That's crazy.
Nothing,
yeah,
JR.
we still can't hear you.
I don't know if Angie think we hear her. Yo, not with the Al Bundy rest too. That's crazy. Yo,
and then she put her hand to the mouth.
Yeah, no.
God damn.
You just need a shirt that say "No, ma'am."
That's messed up.
Jesus Christ. Lord Jesus.
You know, my mom used to be like, "Get your hands from down there, hanky panky." That's what she used to say.
Old habits die hard.
If you want me to start the show, I will, JR.
On today's episode of Lapeef Wednesdays.
Mic check, mic check. Guys, hear me?
There you go.
Right, know what's going on. Anyhow, let's go ahead and introduce the panel, man. We got Aisha, Mira, Ty from the Shot, Clout Jones, Biz, Hink, Angie, Luis, me, myself, with PJR. Welcome, you guys. How y'all doing? My apologies.
We're doing good.
Y'all doing, man? Y'all sound dry as hell. Y'all was live the first time when I was on mute, but y'all can't be live now. Anyhow,
you know, things are looking up in 2025.
That's good. That's good. That's good. Heard Hink say something about a deal, though. What's going on with that?
I don't know where that came from.
That's what it looked like. That's what it looked like Aisha had pulling out. It looked like she had a red one.
Absolutely not. Like,
oh no! Whoa! You had to stroke it though.
Oh man. It's going crazy. Anyhow, man. Good to see you guys, man. If you guys haven't already hit that like button, also make sure you subscribe to the channel. Shout out to Tia Hanley as well. Make sure you guys click that link. It's in the description. 40% off along with a free gift. And if you become a member, you get 20% off for life. So go ahead and click that link. That is in the description. You guys seen the title, Uncomfortable Truth About Women Over 40. And it's just a figure of speech, right? It's just speaking about the sexual market value of women as they get older. So that's what this discussion primarily will be about. So I'm going to go ahead and open it up with this, man. I do got a clip that I'm going to play, and then I'm going to go ahead and get some questions going, all right? How that sound? All right, here we go.
There's two of them now.
I am a 38-year-old woman. Yes, I am 38 years old. I just turned 38 a few days ago. I have no shame in that. I love myself. I love my body. I love everything. I love my mindset. Listen, I'm grateful to be here another year. But I'm 38 years old. I don't have a husband. I'm not married. No, I'm not. Have I been engaged? Yes. Have I had boyfriends? Oh, for sure. But I'm not married, okay? I am not married. I've never been married, okay? I don't have any kids. Yes, I don't have kids, okay? Once upon a time in my 20s and early 30s, when I would tell people I don't have any kids, it was, you know, they would glorify it like, oh, girl, don't ever have kids. But now the closer you get to 40, people are like, what's wrong with you, girl? What you waiting on? I'm tired of seeing these posts about, oh, you're 36 years old and you don't have a man yet. You're undesirable. Oh, I don't want you. If the other man didn't want you, I don't want you either. I'm single by choice. By choice. Because let's just be honest, right? If you are in the dating field and you're a woman right now, single in the dating field, there is a gender war that is literally going on right now. And you could very well be a sane individual, but because you have met a man who is broken and has been scarred by multiple women that he was supposed to be with, he's going to come in and not know how to treat you or handle who you are. He sees that you're healed and it's going to trigger his demons. So he's going to automatically feel like this is too good to be true, and he's going to end up self-sabotaging or just overall sabotaging the relationship. That's just kind of what's happening out here.
All right. I had to play a little video for context. I'm opening up with this question. What is the market value for men and women? What is the market value for men and women in your opinion? I'm going to go ahead and start with you, Ty. Like, how do you view the sexual market value when it comes to men and women?
Of any age or over 40?
I mean, just kind of break it down.
I feel like when societal wise, right, when women are younger, their market value is higher according to society because that's what they want, right? You're supposedly in your prime. You supposedly look your best. You don't have as much baggage. You're still open to change and learning. Whereas men's market value is lower when they're younger. You don't have anything. You don't have any money. You haven't sustained a career. You're still learning. You know, you're still growing. But then as men get older, their market value grows. Whereas unfortunately, it seems like for women, as women get older, their market value goes down. Because let's just be honest, most men are looking for a woman to build a family with, to have children. The older you get, the harder it is for you to have children. Maybe you already have them. You don't want to continue to do it. You stop taking care of your body. You're not as desirable. So older men will usually go for younger women, not all, of course, but for younger women, which makes their value higher. And then vice versa. The, younger women want to go for older men because they're more established. They can actually take care of them. They actually have a plan for their life. They already have a career. They have money. Okay. That's my opinion on that.
All right. Go ahead, Clout. You always have an interesting take, man. I'm curious if it's similar, if you can add anything else.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. You know, I think that's pretty much the standard perception of sexual marketplace value is that when women are younger, their marketplace value tends to be a little higher. And it's assumed that as they get older, their marketplace value will decrease, and vice versa for men. When men are younger, they tend to have a lower sexual marketplace value, but as they get older, it tends to increase. So I would agree with her.
Can I
Go
say
ahead, Andrew. Yeah, go ahead.
for the men? So, is the vagina different? Like, I think that a lot of men would prefer a woman, and I don't think this necessarily is contingent upon age, but I think some men would prefer women who have a little bit of know-how. But I just kind of want to ask the men, like, vagina-wise, do you feel like the vagina is better when they in their early, or it's better after?
Well, so I would say that it's not necessarily the vagina, is what's attached to it or who's attached to it. Me personally, I think it's for me growing up, I was more attracted to older women because older women, they play less games. It was straight to the point. Hey, if we just messing around, we just messing around. If we looking at something more serious, then you know what it is. Compared to younger women, where you're gonna go through that, I want to have makeup to break up sex. I want to fight and pick, and I want to be loud and do, all of the shit that young people did at that time. So I think that with I think the value of men and women in the marketplace depends on that person, because if you don't bring any value to the relationship and you're nothing but something to look at, then you're gonna play the same part regardless of how old you are. But if you actually bring something, as everybody talk about now, if you actually bring something to the table, then you're definitely a lot more valuable than somebody that doesn't have shit going for them. They just want to complain or sit around or fight or whatever the case may be. People want to feel comfortable with this person and what it is that they can deliver to them in life. If that makes sense.
Go ahead, Cloud. You trying to say something?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that to answer Angie's question. I don't think it's definitely the vagina. I think it's more so the aesthetic. You know what I mean? Like, because the vagina can vary depending on the age or the woman in general, but the aesthetic, I think, is what draws men to the younger women, because it's like everything's newer. Everything's like fresher. So if we're thinking of all the parts men like about women, like when you're in young womanhood, all those things are like the firmest and bounciest. The skin tends to be the softest and supplest. You know what I mean? Like the stomach is a little bit more flatter. The hips are a little bit more dipping. You know what I mean? So I think that's really what it is.
All right, go ahead, Luis. That was you, Hank?
No, I was gonna ask her what's her stupid ass question again, because Angie come with some stupid shit. What was that dumb ass question again? Could you repeat yourself, man?
Hank, don't start with me, Hank. Don't start with me. I basically said, I'm not. Should I respond to this because he's but ask question? Okay, so basically, I was asking for the men, sexual value is contingent upon whether she's in her 20s, 30s, or 40s. Like, is it better when you're in your 20s? Is it better when they're in their 30s? Is it better when they're in their 40s? I'm asking y'all because they are specifically specified the sexual value, not the overall value. But according to what Vid said, I think that he said his sexual experience, he would rate it upon a combination of not just how you look, but the experience that you bring, because that contributes to how good the sex is.
So you want to know if old ass is better than younger ass. That's pretty much what you want to know.
So yeah.
Okay. So let me say this. In 2025, these young girls have more experience than some of these old heads. And that's a problem. And so now I got to deal with this young girl with a lot of body experience. And her mindset is off. Yeah, that's a bad combination. Now, me as a man at the age of 49, I don't have no problem with dealing with a woman who's about my age, because that's what I expect. That's what I married. That's what I'm going to deal with. I already know how to handle, train, teach, educate, whatever words y'all want to use is. You know, they trigger when we said train. So whatever words you want to use, I know how to deal with them. I don't want to deal with some young girl who had more bodies than me and my wife put together. That's a problem for me. So why? Because she's tight and all that. Yeah, she may be tight in other places, but the main place she ain't tight no more. She about as wide open as your mouth whenever you talk to me, Angie. I don't need that in my goddamn life. Yeah, like that.
Well,
right there.
Wait, hold on. Let me clarify too. When I said experience, definitely not sexual experience. I'm just talking about experience in life.
Right. So
in general.
So Angie, when we talk about the SMV, which is the sexual market value, it refers to one's desirability or attractiveness in the dating and relationship marketplace. So we're not talking about sex here.
Hank, what I do know is you better watch your MF mouth. Because where you at, I will pull up on you.
All right, back to your regular schedule program. I'm going to get your thoughts about this, Amira. Sexual, I'm coming to you, Luis. Sexual marketplace value between men and women. What are your thoughts about it?
I can't speak of anything except the things that I know. And in I know they are. I always preface this. In my culture, this is how it is. If you're not a virgin, you're not worth. There is no worth after that. You're a virgin or you're just regular. So for us, I mean, I know you guys are saying like if you're young, you're tighter, or whatever, but for us, the only way you're going to get value is if you're virgin. If you're not virgin, you're not worth anything else. I mean, yeah, you can be a good person. Someone can still marry you, but you're not going to get seen as something special after that. That's just the way it is. And the other thing is, when I speak to my father, my uncles, my husband, everybody that I speak to, when they talk about women's, they always say that the younger the woman, the more intolerable she is, the more insufferable she is, because younger women are stupid. They talk too much and don't listen enough. They think they have so much to talk about when in truth, they're saying the same things that every other girl next to them said, but they think they're special. The women who start getting older tend to be less insufferable. They tend to be more logical. But then finally, by the time they get the logic, the body is failing. So for a lot of men from my culture, we see that the woman, as she gets older, she starts to be somebody that you actually want to be around more. The younger women, you really don't want to be around them, but you like to look at them. But by the time she gets to that point where she starts thinking and being logical, the body is starting to not look as cute anymore.
Amara, what culture are you? I mean, what ethnicity?
I'm Lebanese, Middle East. And that's just the way it is for us. Like if a woman is going to get married, let's take the value, because the value, the only time it really matters is during marriage. I don't know how you guys feel as Americans. You guys think that you have value if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend. Somehow there's value because she's young, but that doesn't mean anything. If you're not marrying her, she doesn't have any value to you. The way you show your value for someone is through marriage, because that's the only time that you're going to upfront money for that person. That's the only time that you're actually going to give that person something of you. So all of this talk of girlfriends and boyfriends and the person is valuable, and it means nothing unless you're getting married. That's how we feel.
I know your culture, that's your cultural belief, but do you buy into that?
I'm sorry?
I'm saying I understand you said that was your culture's belief, but I was trying to understand if that's your personal belief.
That's how I see it too.
Angie, that
In
was
our
so
in our
American of you.
in
That
our
was
in our view, in our here, women are here. That's just the way it is, and that's what I believe.
Amira, I just want to say that in America, for women in general, our value is not based on how someone else feels about us. Our value is based on how we feel and what makes us happy. And that's just what it is. And we live our lives based on our own happiness and no one else's. And that goes for men and women alike. And that's okay. Our value is not based on virginity.
Yeah, I don't know if I can agree
Yeah,
with
that's not
that.
true. That's not
It's
true at all.
we have we we
That's how I
have
feel. My value is not based. Are you speaking
yeah,
from
no, we have
Can I respond?
crackheads, we got meth heads outside, we got people that drink and drive, and they feel perfectly happy and fine with what it is that they do. Those people carry no value. PDFs, those people carry no value. So
But
with
that's in
what
your
you're saying,
opinion. The value is to other people though.
I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, with there being a lack of structure, that mentality to me, that comes from a lack of structure. When we have a lack of structure, there's anarchy, and then that's essentially why America is in the position that it's in now, because our value is in ourselves. When no, your value is what is it that you're bringing to this society of people. What are you contributing? Are you only taking, or are you giving and receiving at the same time? So you have to have some type of value that you're bringing to the table, and not just what it is that you feel like you do and you're okay with.
I want to respond to her.
Go ahead, man.
Aisha, thank you, Jr. Aisha, your name is Arabic. Nice name. Aisha, when you said that your value is not in your virginity, JR's question was sexual market value. So I'm talking specifically about sexual market value, since the question is about sexual market value. Now, if you want to talk about how you feel about yourself and how you feel grand, or how you feel good or valuable, just like Wiz said, or Viz, it doesn't matter what you think. You don't make your value. Other people determine how valuable you are to the community, to the people, to the world.
I feel like that's true to a certain extent because I feel like you create your own value to people. And I create that through my work, right? I work for a nonprofit. I work with people every single day, right? So I do things and I think that creates value. My company couldn't function without me. So what I bring to the table and bring to society as a whole, overall, it is valuable.
I was gonna say that
My virginity.
Aisha's perspective is very much so westernized, right? It's the way that American women think, because we take away just being a woman and our value to man specifically, and we start adding on extra things like, okay, I have a career as well, I'm also educated, I'm able to do this, that, and the third, and that also makes me valuable. So it's just about the perception of this
Yeah,
situation.
American women are a little more
They're
narcissistic.
both-
That's all.
Say it again, Cloud.
I said Western women are a little more narcissistic, so they're focused more on the me, and how I see myself versus how I'm reflected in the world.
I think westernized people, period, are more narcissistic, both men and women. It's just the way that we think, the way that we are raised, the American way. We are narcissistic as a whole. And that's just the culture here. But I do understand both perspectives.
I actually think that American men are actually a little more codependent and narcissistic, but I hear your point.
I would challenge everybody and say it's human nature for us to be narcissistic to some degree. It doesn't matter what culture you come from, because within those cultures, there's different within those cultures. There's the different hierarchies or self-value the self-image that you have. So I think that that's across the board, just in human nature.
I don't know about that, because if you look at a lot of like ancient cultures, the idea of the self is almost non-existent. People will have the same exact hairstyle. All the men will dress exactly the same. All the women will dress exactly the same. If you go back, especially if you look tribally, you know, like a lot of tribal societies, everyone, there is no self. There's no like you look like you and you're expressing yourself a certain way. If our tribe wears red and white, then that's what we wear, is red and white. There's no person that wears blue in the tribe because they like blue. That's just not how it works. In like,
Wouldn't
I
it,
guess,
it's
less
not because they like
modernized society.
it wouldn't be because they like it, but it'll be because they achieve the ability to wear that blue. With people, the tribes that had the the scar modifications. If you have a certain pattern, you reached a certain level.
Yeah,
If you unalive a lion, then
sure.
you have the ability to walk around with that lion's tooth or whatever the case may be.
But you still have the scars. You see what I'm saying? Like you couldn't exist in the society without having the scars. You have to be like everyone else to exist in those societies. Like you might be wearing a lion's tooth and he might be wearing a hyena's tooth, but you're all wearing a tooth because it's in the society. You have to hunt something. You can't exist as a man in this culture if you don't hunt something. Like if you're part of the Maasai tribe and they eat meat, that's what you eat. There's no vegetarian Maasai. You get what I mean? So there's kind
Yeah,
of
no,
like, that's what I mean when I say there's no eat kind of you. You're not an individual in those type of societies.
All right, let me go ahead and get Luis in there, y'all. Go ahead, Luis.
Can y'all, first and foremost, can y'all hear me okay?
Yes,
All
sir.
right, good, good. So, I got a chance to hear all of you, and I know we've had this conversation before, and like, we've circled the wagon. So I kind of just took a different approach. I just kind of broke it down in like three different categories, from sexual market value to relationship market value to marriage market value. Um, and pretty much what I looked at it, especially just taking some points and writing down what falls under what category, especially when we're talking about people, and it's people who are born here, raised here, educated here, and cultured here, right? Culture plays a big part. I mean, we're one of the biggest freaking melting pots in the world, and culture is everything. It's very addicting. A lot of people tend to emulate and pick up certain things from other cultures. It's hard not to do that, considering how close in proximity we live amongst each other, right? And certain things that resonate with other people from other cultures, because the more we think we're more different, we're more alike in some ways. We might speak different languages, we might eat different foods and have different customs, but we're a lot more alike than we are different. And I think sometimes we forget about that. As it pertains to just the sexual market value, I think what has happened is that we have created the greatest campaign of, sorry, I think what has happened is we have created the greatest campaign of propaganda to spread across the world, that family no longer matters and it's all about the individual and self. If we start to talk about what is sexual market value as it pertains to oneself, and we look at all the other categories as it pertains to family creation, we're talking about people who live in communities and tribes versus someone who is now living outside that tribe, who lives outside of that different code, right? A lot of people think about the black community. People get kicked out at 18, figure it out. There isn't that after stage where people start to kind of live in close communities. They still have their parents. You know what I'm saying? I brought this up last time we were on this panel. Most people are dating in secret. Most women are dating in secret. You know why? Because they will never bring that person that they like to be introduced to their father, their brother, right? Because if they did, they would never approve them. So they do everything in secret. There is no sense of community around, introducing people who are the better candidates for a better prospect relationship. Obviously, the conversations and all that need to happen at some point, but being in front of the best pool of candidates as opposed to trying to experiment is like playing Russian roulette with your life and your health, right? Why put yourself in that predicament? And I think that we've gotten so comfortable with this idea that, well, we live in America and all this and that. Contrary to popular belief, we've never lived by these ideals. We've always had a high marriage rate. We've never had out of wedlock situations, right? And sort of like we have taken on other people's characteristics within this melting pot, right, that we call America. We've idolized other cultures of living, right, that are detrimental to us in terms of how we live in proximity to one another. I'll give you an example. Why, you know what I'm saying? Why is I think today more than ever, the idea of family is more attacked, and the idea of being by yourself as like an individual is more celebrated. And that's for men and women, right? I don't want to make this gender specific, but it really is. And sort of that's where we're at. And sort of if there's all this divide, who gets to conquer? Everybody else in between. And sort of when you compare what communities thrive in close niche and what they promote, you know what I'm saying? It's much different. But to Mara's point, in terms of like her culture, like I don't ever expect here people to do that. I think people have so much freedom today that they don't even know what to do with it, right? You ever hear? I've always found it weird to me when women say, "Oh, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free," but the first thing you do is not write a book, not focus on school, is to go and do something debauchery, like, and say that it's liberating, but it's not compared to doing something that's more liberating, that's an added value or added a benefit to your own community or to your sisterhood, right? I think the mindsets are different, and sort of we need to reconcile what that looks like, especially moving forward. Hey, you.
I think that it was interesting, even with the video that JR played. The young lady, she started it off as if she wants to be married, she wants to have children, but then she shifted it at the middle of it and was like, "Oh well, I'm happy. I'm single by choice." It's like you technically you're not single by choice because you want to be in a relationship, you want to be married, you want to have kids, but you apparently either haven't found your person or you're sabotaging every situation that you get involved in because you're listening to the narratives that's going on. So I think that is interesting that women will openly speak against the very thing that they actually want and further pushing this narrative that everybody is happy and happy single and that's the way that they want to be, when I think honestly that's 100% not true.
Yeah, I think Viz hit on where I wanted to kind of lead a discussion as well, because she did bring up single by choice versus single by choice with the desire to marry. I think that's a good conversation to go here because there's a difference. I guess when people say that I'm single by choice, is it look differently versus someone that's saying I'm single by choice, but they still looking for marriage?
Honestly, JR, I think that is the context. I think that just because a person, I think that when women state the facts and then they say, I'm I'm single by choice, like speaking to what Via said, like we have to also, it's not like when women say they're single by choice, I think a lot of the time it's because of the quality. It's not about having a relationship, it's about having a certain quality of relationship, right? Because the masculine and feminine roles have shifted a lot since World War II. As far as it being as definite as it was, it's not. So the requirements are different. So what women are saying is that women that were married for all those years, the requirement and what was needed to stay married and why they stay married is much different from current day and modern day. And now women are looking to men for different things. And I would rather, I'm happy enough, I'm peaceful enough, I'm content enough with having what I have versus just having anybody. Like, I'm looking for this healthy relationship. I'm looking for a certain dynamic versus just having a relationship. I think that many women can just have a relationship because they're desirable, but the quality of the relationship has to also um, touch the mark. Does that make sense?
So I have a question real quick. So if you want the relationship, to me, when I hear someone say that they're single by choice, what I hear is I'm a person that can't take accountability. That's what I hear personally. Now, I would think it would make sense to me if that person was actually looking or waiting for that person instead of saying, "Oh, I'm single by choice." If you want to get married, you should be saying, "I'm waiting on my husband." I'm waiting for my husband to find me. That would then say to me and other men that are potentially listening that, okay, this woman is ready to become a wife, compared to saying, "Oh, I'm single by choice, so I have all of this baggage that I'm gonna take with me. You gotta deal with X, Y, and Z. That I'm not budging on this. If you broke for 3 months, nigga, I'm gone." You know what I'm saying? Those are all of the narratives that are being pushed when men, I would think, hear women say, "Oh, I'm single by choice," because you're not single by choice. You're waiting for, if you want a husband, then you're waiting for your husband. Just say that.
By choice, because the single by choice is simply saying, and instead of assuming, maybe you should ask why they're saying that. The single by choice is saying, like, I have people that want to be in relationship with me, but I might not see the value in me being in relationship with them. I think that sometimes men have a problem with the and are at the point where we can choose whether we want them. We don't need you. We can choose whether we want you or not, whether you qualify for enhancing or being a contributing to what my ultimate purpose is, right? Like, I think that
Western women don't want husbands, they want to be husbands. Notice you just said contributing to what your purpose is. But if a man is contributing to what your purpose is, that would make you the leader, that would make you the husband.
No,
so that's really what the major problem is that since World War II, and women have gotten a taste of what it's like to feel like a man and make money and be autonomous like a man, American women have this very strong penis envy and require to be husbands rather than be wives. That's really all it is. So the reason why the market is the way it is because men are basically dealing with a bunch of men.
That's absolutely not true. I think I'm just saying that's absolutely not true, because I think that if you're with a wife and that person and they have a career and you have something going on, you guys can support each other. Like, I don't see why we have.
But look what you did right there. You notice that you can't imagine
17 years, and I followed my husband's dream. Everything he wanted, I supported him to the 10. And when because I didn't have to work. Being married, I don't have to work. So when I decided that I did, he supported me on that. There was no pushback. There was no.
Right, but see, supporting you and directing you are two different things, right? So him supporting you is, and no disrespect to him, but he's playing a submissive role when he's supporting you and doing what you want to do. He didn't instruct you to do that. He didn't groom you to do that. He didn't guide you to do that. He didn't train you to do that. You wanted to do your own thing, and so he's accepting you doing your own thing, right? But he's not leading you. You're leading yourself, and I feel like that's why you had to go to support each other, because American women want the same treatment on both sides. American women want to be treated like how the husband is treated. You want me to support you, but you have to support me too. But you're supposed to be the wife, not the husband. So you're supposed to be supporting your husband, not your husband supporting you.
I think
right?
that goes both ways.
I think that's part of.
Because I feel like that's not. everybody plays a role when you're in a marriage, right? Your husband
But
absolutely.
everybody doesn't share a role. Everyone plays a role, but they don't share it.
Wash the dish.
Yeah, one mic, one at a time.
Don't do laundry. Go to work, come home, watch the game, do whatever, right? So if I decide that I want to add additional tasks for me and I'm okay with that and he supports that, that's fine. So I just feel like there's a balance. You know what I mean? And I feel like in America, we tend to want that balance. Like women want that balance, and that's okay. Like, what is wrong with that? As long as I'm able to support you and give you all the things that you need and desire and be a wife, and I'm still able to do what I want to do. Like,
The problem with balance is you lose polarity. That's the problem with balance, right? So hold on, just hear me out. Like, so for example, there's a scripture in the Bible where it says, if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out, right? The problem is that if you're lukewarm, because I'm balanced, right? And you're lukewarm, you're balanced, and I'm lukewarm, then we just got a bunch of lukewarm ass water not doing nothing. You get what I'm saying? Where passion and relationships come from is from polarity. One is hot, one is cold. And what happens when you got the hot and cold water together? That's when you get hurricanes. That's when you get storms. That's when you get actual motion. Nothing's really being caused by just stale, everything being the same. So if we're both balanced, then we're actually imbalanced. That because the whole point of man and woman is not to be balanced the same. We're supposed to be different. You're supposed to be this way, feminine. I'm supposed to be this way, masculine. And that energy in between us is what's drawing us together so powerfully. That energy in between us is what's causing the fucking torus field that makes the world go around. But we can't make the world go around without polarity. You can't have an electric circuit without a positive and a negative charge. It doesn't work.
I think that's the biggest issue when it comes to American people overall, is our expectations are unrealistic for what we want, right? So women, like you were saying, Aisha, you want to be equal almost to your husband, but in reality, we really don't, right? We really don't want to have to put in as much work as men do. We really don't want to have to do everything that they do, but we want to be seen like they're seen. But that's just not, it's not fair and it's not realistic. And it doesn't work for the overall, it doesn't work for the overall home, honestly. Like if we're talking about families and building families specifically, and I think that's where the disconnect comes in, because when we speak about these things, a lot of times, even like Luis was saying, we speak specifically from an individual perspective, what you specifically wanted for yourself rather than what is going to work for the entire family. There is a truth that each person has a role in the house. And it's not that, your role is diminished because you're a woman, but because you're a woman, you are in a certain role. If we are following, like Clout said, the actual Bible, the order of everything should be God, man, women, children. And it's like that for a reason. You want the man to be able to lead. You want to be able to support him in his dreams. It doesn't mean that you can't have your own. It doesn't mean that you can't go after what you want to go after. But I would rather have a man that is going after what he wants and I'm supporting him through that, and he's putting in all of that grind and hard work, where I can focus on my children and I can focus on my house and making sure that the family is okay. I think we've gotten away from that in American society. Just like Louise said, we don't focus on what's better for the entire family. Our expectations are off because of the amount of freedom that we've been given and how we think about life now. We always think about it from a very selfish point of view.
I'm
so
so happy.
Let me tell you this. I talked about it the other day about the women of the 60s. And y'all kind of gave me hell on that, saying these women 25 ain't like the women of 60. And that's why I said what I said, man. Because y'all want to be equal. Look, we're not partners. We're not equal. Why do you want to be? Enjoy the double standards that you ladies have. No accountability. Get away with doing what you want to. Act like a child, but get treated like an adult. Love it. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Instead, y'all don't want to. Y'all want to act like y'all want to until the consequences come and y'all have to deal with it. So when I heard women talking about, I choose to be single, you don't choose to be single. No, you don't choose that. That's not what you really want. What you really want is what I have. You want a husband like Hank in your goddamn life. Instead, you don't. You got a clown ass dude who you are taking care of while he's playing Xbox, PlayStation all goddamn day. No, that's not what you want. You want a man like me who's going to make sure you in a good place. Miss Hink is up in the bedroom right now, enjoying the television, enjoying the fruits of my labor. She's blessed. You don't have them blessed women who say, I choose to be single. Nah, you don't. When them cold days, when you have to go out and shovel 10 inches of snow, your man's out there. Instead, you got to hope your maintenance man come through. I could tell them women ain't no homeowners. You know why? Because you can't call the maintenance man and put a work order in, tell him come fix the shit. No. You're going to have to figure out your goddamn self. And you heifers don't want to do that. When you don't feel like going to work, but that man going to continue to work and go into the death for him until he's ready to retire, whatever, y'all be ready to quit any goddamn mom. I bet you Aisha right now, she ready to go work. I'm ready to quit. And she going to hope her husband come through and bail out, make sure he takes care of everything. That's why she's at that saying, I didn't have to work. It was a luxury. But that's not what y'all really want. Talk about I want to be single. Nah, not really.
On this panel, he said that they wanted to be single, though. But what I will agree with on Louise, I think that in America, it is about individualism. And I think that that's something that's just built inside our culture. And I think that we're a long way away from that changing, right? I also think that when I made the decision that I wanted to, go to work and do these things, I looked at the benefit that it would bring to my family financially and the goals that was set. And that's just how I looked at it as I was helping. I was being an addition. And I never looked at it as like it diminished my husband or he wasn't a leader, because he was. Like, he had supported me through everything. Like, he did everything. So when I came to the table with that, I thought that I was adding and I was, bringing an addition to. Like, and I feel like today's market, guys aren't worth. I haven't met a guy yet that want to pay all the bills. Every guy say, what do you bring to the table? So when you're constantly asking women, what do they bring to the table, she's going to continue to boss up. And then y'all are going to continue to say, oh, you're too independent. We're independent, but you ask them what we bring to the table.
I think the reasoning for that,
that's your
problem.
That's your problem. You think we're talking about money when we say bring the table. There's a clip that Deion Cole said, peace is more valuable than money. But y'all don't bring peace. Y'all bring chaos. Y'all bring destruction. Y'all bring hell to a man's mind. Y'all don't bring it. Look here, you can't put a price tag on happiness and peace, but y'all don't put that. Y'all don't bring that. So when we ask you that, that's really what we're looking for. We'll work 2 or 3 jobs to take care of you if you will bring a peaceful home and you bring good love and a good home cooked meal. But that's not what y'all bringing. You bringing lonely man meals and TV dinners, and you don't halfway give that ass up. Hell no.
And she gonna boss.
I think also.
Let me go after
on you. Hold on, things are also a little different, I think, than maybe in like Amira's country, for example. Like, America is like designed in a way where men have to compete in the workforce with women. So it's like, of course, in an environment where men have to compete in the workforce with women, and also because women are competing with men in the workforce, they have a lot of desires and wants. Then men are going to ask what you bring to the table. Why? Because all right, in Amira's country, if a woman, I'm pretty sure if a woman gets married to a man and whatever he has is what she's getting. Like, so if he has one house, she's inheriting his one house, right? Whereas in America, a woman can be like, well, I don't like your house. I don't like your house. And so because I don't like your house, I want a bigger one. And you need to get me a bigger one. And American women are kind of in a position to make certain demands that a lot of women in other countries might not make in the same way. So maybe that's why men are saying, hey, well, what are you bringing to the table? Because you're the one who wants to live in an 8-bedroom mansion. I have a house that's perfectly fine, and that might not be good enough for the average American woman. Whereas in other countries, a very modest home might be more than enough in other countries. Now, I don't know for sure. Like, again, I don't live in her country, so I don't know. I'm just guessing. But I definitely think that it's possible that the requests that are coming from women in other countries as opposed to the requests that are coming from women in Western countries are very different. And women here, I think, might want slightly more material things. But I'm gonna let Mira.
Yeah, but hold on, Cloud.
She raised her hand. Mira.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mira. I'll go after you.
Just in response to Cloud, Cloud brings up a good point about women wanting things. I want to give you something, Cloud. What a woman wants in my country depends on many things, right? So, women in my country are very bratty. Women in my country are like, I want this, I want that, and they won't work for it. But why are they able to do that? Is because many of them marry as virgin. The majority of the women who are in my country come with skills. We do things by hand. We're capable of doing a lot of things. We save a lot of money in the house. We provide things that American women don't. For example, Middle Eastern women, they garden, they have their own spices, they know how to cook from scratch. Of course, they make our own bread. We make our bread every week. We make noodles. We make our milk at home, our cheese at home. We never have to buy milk, cheese, or what have you. Not make our own milk. I meant make our own yogurt, sorry. But we make our own yogurt, our own cheese, and such like that. Everything is at home. These women come with skills. And also, if you marry her as a virgin, she might ask for 50 bars of gold. When we're talking about the sexual market value, in my country, if a woman gets married as a virgin and she wants, we call it mahar. Mahar is like dowry. So if the man comes to a family and says, I want your daughter, I want your virgin daughter, what does she want for mahar? She might say, I want 50 gold bars and a diamond ring. Can you provide? No, I don't have that. I can come back, and he might come back. But let's say that woman, she's able to ask for those things because she's a virgin. If you have a non-virgin daughter, she's not going to be able to ask for those 50 bars. You'll be lucky if you get a rug. You get a Persian rug. You might get your first pot to make some soup.
God damn.
But you're not gonna get Persian. But that's the sexual market value, and that's the difference between America, because in America, the women might ask for this or that, but then they're also going to go outside and work for it. But then that also comes with an attitude.
And they're also not virgins.
But I also want to
and
point out
they ain't,
the
I ain't
men-
never had no cheese nor no bread made from scratch.
Hold on, I just
Yeah,
want to point out though.
look.
Look, hold on. I want to point out real quick, Luis, and I'm gonna let you go.
Buddy.
We're focusing a lot on the women, but did you guys listen to the fact that the men pay for the women there? That is not American culture. In America, when you get married, the woman, even if you are, hold on, even if you are a virgin and you get married in America, the woman's father pays for the marriage. The man never pays for a woman over here. That is not even the mentality of men here to pay. Listen to what I'm saying. Just hold on for a second, because I see Vid's face. I see y'all getting worked up. I understand that you work afterwards. You may pay the bills. I'm talking about they're paying for that woman's hand. They're paying for her virginity. They're paying for her being pure. He's coming to the family saying, I'm going to give you this for your daughter, and then I'm also going to take care of her, do this, that, and the third, and she doesn't have to worry about anything.
But they gotta
in
be
America,
a father
we don't do that. Man,
they got to be a father to do that too. They got to be a virgin. They got to be a virgin daughter to
I understand that. I'm saying even in America, if you get married
that was a thing in America though.
And even in America nowadays, if you get married nowadays, that's happening in her country. Nowadays, if you're a virgin, because there are still virgins, believe it or not, there are
virgins get married in this country.
There are still virgins in America, and when they get married, their men are not paying for them. You have no dowry.
There are dowries. There are dowries.
That is not a popular culture, especially in Black culture. Let's keep it a buck. There is no popular culture in Black culture.
Well, that's
not
because
African,
Black
not
culture
Haitian.
has always been a financial underclass.
My husband took my virginity, so I will throw that out there. My husband took my virginity, so
did he pay for it?
That's why he paid the bills. I don't know.
Did he pay for you, Aisha? Did he give your father money for you? That's all I'm saying. It's totally different for men and women. We like to focus a lot on the women, and yes, women have.
But what I'm saying is, but she said her husband took her virginity, but did her husband take her virginity before they got married or after? Because if he took her virginity before they got married, then why would he pay a dowry? Did she ask for a dowry, or did she just give him the pussy?
After, and he asked my father for my hand, and there was no money
But
exchanged.
but
So
but did,
that's
did
the
but
traditional.
no, Amira specifically just said that the women ask for what they want as a
But he
dowry.
might not see the value
woman
in
would
you
say,
to give no money up.
no,
So
no, no,
maybe
no,
that's
no,
why.
no.
we don't
But
do it
the
in
woman
America.
also has to see some value in herself to say, well, if
Please.
you want to have my
I'm
body,
just saying.
you
That's
need to
not our
marry me and
culture
give me 50
Well,
gold
at all
bars.
here.
But
But
now
if you didn't
hey,
ask for
hey,
50 gold bars
besides,
and you
hey,
took KFC and some wings and a shot of tequila, then it is what it is.
clout,
hey,
see,
but
but
wait,
That
but
was your
wait,
now you're
dowry,
well,
baby.
flipping it.
Your
Hold
Now
on,
dowry,
you're
your
hold
flipping
dowry was
it.
on,
Casa
hold on,
Duro.
order. We gotta
Your
let
dowry
Clout,
was
Louise.
you're
Casa
trying to flip
Azul.
it back.
We
You're
well,
gotta
trying
let
no,
to
no,
flip
Louise.
it
No,
no.
back
I'm
and say
So,
saying
that it's our fault for
if
not
what you
asking
asked for,
when the
so
reality
if you
is
gave it up without getting a dowry with your marriage, then that's the price that you set. That's your
That's the
price.
price that most American women set because that's not our culture. That's not what happens here. Our culture is
No,
a man
because
asks
American
your
women don't value
father
their virginity.
clout. Hold
American
on.
women don't value their virginity, and that's why
Hold
they don't
on.
exchange for it in
Hold
the
on.
same way.
Even if they do, the culture here is that the man asks the father for your hand in marriage. That's
Just
it.
like hers.
And your father has to say, yes, I think he's a great man. I think he'll take care of you in the future. And then your father pays for your wedding. That is the traditional way in America. That
But
is our
the parent of the
traditional way.
bride usually pays for the wedding. In most cultures,
Yeah,
the parent of the
our
bride
fathers
usually
pay
pays
for
for
the
the
wedding
wedding.
too.
That's normal. The dowry is
yeah,
something
it,
entirely separate. The dowry is what the wife
But it's
requests,
still
what
paid
she is
for.
requesting.
They still put up something for that. That's not our
But
culture. That's not
you
what
have
happens
to
here.
request that. You have to value your virginity in such a way that you
Come on now.
feel that in order for you to become a man's bride, you're
It's
worth
not our
X,
culture.
Y,
Not a part
Z.
of our culture.
That's
You
not,
tell
that
me
doesn't even
to
happen.
understand that. That never
Why
happens in
not?
America. You're
But
telling
I,
me
that's what I'm saying.
I know
I'm
why.
saying that American culture does not value virginity, and therefore the women do not value their own virginity. That's what I'm saying. You're agreeing with me, kind of.
I agree with you on that. Like,
Okay.
didn't
and I
say you were wrong.
trust my parents to
I
pick
wanna
my.
I wanna answer his question as to why we don't do that in America here. You don't see it happening because in America, I noticed that women say, I'm not worth, you're not gonna buy me. I'm not a prostitute. They will say, you can't give me money. It feels like you're purchasing me or something like that. I feel like I'm a
Yeah, I
Love
am
don't
worth
cost
and
a
and
thing.
one moment. And the reason why they feel that way is because they've been taught that it's not worth something physical, that it's not worth this. You cannot ask for this or that for this exchange. You cannot ask for it. For us, it's more of an exchange. For Americans, it's more about love.
there we
So
go. I agree
we
with that.
fall in love too, but
Okay.
we mostly fall in love after marriage. Mostly, we don't usually fall in love before.
So that's where the culture
but
Okay.
so,
This is the
so
problem. This is the problem I'm having right now, though. They keep saying we don't pay, but we do pay. We just pay
yeah,
it differently. We pay it over a
yeah.
time period. We pay it with our time and our finances. We do pay. So when we take you out on date, that's us paying, right? When y'all are looking for certain gifts from us, that's us paying. We're working our way up to that. So we're just doing it. It's just like it's a long distance. It's like a 30-year loan. So y'all like a house payment that we paying every time we take you on a date or in a gathering or birthday or Christmas. Same goddamn thing.
Yeah.
We're just
I'll
doing it
push
differently.
back
Yeah.
and say,
Well,
but who,
so,
what about men that
but
want
hold on,
50-50
hold on.
trades?
But
You said
so,
what now?
so
Hold
what
on,
I,
y'all. We gotta let Luis go. We gotta let Luis go. We gotta let.
Oh,
He's
my
been
bad.
waiting. Everybody's just been skipping on. Go ahead, Luis. I don't know if you're there. You on mute, just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I don't even know where to go. I mean, I had a bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I'm just gonna say this. Like, I'm just gonna scratch all these notes. I will say this for the women who are requesting certain things from men, like an 8-bedroom house, it's because they didn't grow up in one. They grew up in a modest three-bedroom house, but they want 8. They didn't grow that. So I think they're trying to set the bar without setting the progress steps to kind of get to that point. And you can't do that alone. I think when most people, like probably attest to probably a mayor's experience, most women still live at home when they're virgins. Still living at home. They're not living, with their girlfriends or their boyfriends shacking up. It's a completely different mindset, and kind of goes back to what I said earlier. Yeah, we're y'all kicking y'all kids out, so they're out here doing anything and everything. You know what I'm saying? Experimenting with the world, and sort of there is no covering. That covering is lost once they leave your house, and then we try to kind of dictate terms to them once they're no longer under our covering and no longer within our reach. And I think that becomes even a greater problem. And I don't think a lot of people are ready to have that kind of conversation. And I will make one comment, kind of going back to earlier, the single by choice versus the single by circumstance, right? Your actions and circumstances have brought you to where you are. It's not by choice. So I think we need to revise that. And I think we need to have a cultural mind shift around single by choice and really single by circumstance.
What's going on, Ash? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm not sure what you guys are talking about, but I'm good.
I'm gonna just go ahead and just run this clip back one more time, and then I'll go ahead and get your take on it. You ready? All right.
And am a 38-year-old woman. Yes, I am 38 years old. I just turned 38 a few days ago. I have no shame in that. I love myself. I love my body. I love everything. I love my mindset. Listen, I'm grateful to be here another year. But I'm 38 years old. I don't have a husband. I'm not married. No, I'm not. Have I been engaged? Yes. Have I had boyfriends? Oh, for sure. But I'm not married, okay? I am not married. I've never been married, okay? I don't have any kids. Yes, I don't have kids, okay? Once upon a time in my 20s and early 30s, when I would tell people I don't have any kids, it was, they would glorify it like, oh, girl, don't ever have kids. But now the closer you get to 40, people are like, what's wrong with you, girl? What you waiting on? I'm tired of seeing these posts about, oh, you're 36 years old and you don't have a man yet. You're undesirable. I don't want you. The other man didn't want you. I don't want you either. I'm single by choice. By choice. Because let's just be honest, right? If you are in the dating field and you're a woman right now, single in the dating field, there is a gender war that is literally going on right now. And you could very well be a sane individual, but because you have met a man who is broken and has been scarred by multiple women that he was supposed to be with, he's going to come in and not know how to treat you or handle who you are. He sees that you're healed and it's going to trigger his demons. So he's going to automatically feel like this is too good to be true, and he's going to end up self-sabotaging or just overall sabotaging the relationship. That's just kind of what's happening out here.
Yeah, I just want to point out something that she's making a statement about, the men being broken and this and that. The men that she's talking about is Future. She's not talking about Larry, the mechanic own shop. She's not talking about George, the dentist. Let's be very real about. And then also, she also lied. She says she had boyfriends and she says she's been engaged. And by her tonality, it means more than once. So if that's the case, then you can't say you're single by choice. You're single by circumstance. It goes back to what I just said.
Louis, she don't want them. So why does it have to be something wrong with her? Because she's saying that I don't want these men. I don't want that. I
Listen, when she says single by choice,
hold on.
I was trying to get Ash in there, y'all.
But Angie, it is something wrong with her. Her whole first.
I was trying to get Ash in there.
Baby, y'all don't know nothing about that woman. So the fact that you're saying something wrong with her lets me know how you feel about yourself. To be quite honest.
Well, no, I'm going off of what she said. What she said out of her own mouth is, "I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with my body. I'm happy with." That's coping. That's when you say that out loud before making that statement in reference to this. She's literally coping.
She's not coping. You know what she's doing because you don't know the full context of it. You don't know her, so you're assuming based off your own biases. Is what I'm saying.
No, it's not a bias.
It's not reading body language.
It's what she's saying.
saying for what she's saying. Why does it have to be something negative?
I could tell you why.
I'm not saying it's something negative. All I'm saying is that she's the words that she chose. She was intentional about that. Everything that she said, she's intentional about what she's saying. If you start off this conversation with this context of, oh, I'm happy with my body, I'm happy with myself, and then you say that you don't have any kids, you're not married, you want to be married and have kids, but you just pointed out what it seems like what you think may be wrong with you, what somebody might have told you that's wrong with you. So now I have to acknowledge this in order for me to cope with myself and then blame the other person. To me, that's what it sounds like when I'm listening from the subcontext of her choice of words.
All right, let me get Ash in there, y'all. Let me get Ash in there. Go ahead, Ash. What were your thoughts about the video? We talking about, the topic is the uncomfortable truth about women over 40. We talked about when women say single by choice versus a woman saying she's single by choice but still has the desire to be married. You heard a little bit of dialogue. What are your thoughts about everything?
Honestly, I could get Viz's point of view and Angie's. From a woman's perspective, though, sometimes we could get in this selfish state, and I don't really necessarily think that's a bad thing, to be in a selfish state where she's just generally just happy with herself. Like overall, she's just happy and she's enjoying her peace. And sometimes you could want to get married, but at the same time it's just like, all right, I also want my peace, I also want my freedom, I also want these other things. And to kind of add on to it, I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing. We saying like is something wrong with her? I don't think there's anything wrong with her. I just think she's content where she's at, but at the same time, maybe in the future she wants to get married, but she's not willing to give up, like I said, some freedoms or to maybe change some things about herself. So that's why I said I could kind of like get it on both ends of the spectrum. And I don't really think there's nothing wrong with being in your 40s and single. A lot of times when we're young, we skip out on that single stage in our life, and we just, listen to what everybody's saying. It's just like, oh, yeah, just get married, have kids, do this. But you skip out on one of the most important stages of your life, where it's just you being single, being selfish, doing all of the things that you need to do. Getting out those selfish moments. So when you get over it, you want to. What's so funny about that, Viz? I'm serious. You need that selfish stage in your life when you're young and get all.
AKA fuck random people.
Wait, hold on. So in other words, just get that whole stage out of it.
Why is that?
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. One mic, y'all. One mic.
Yeah, she said me. Let me get some of this. So everything that you just said in this conversation, the context of what we're talking about, that what you just said is, let me do everything to devalue my sexual value, my sexuality, what I'm worth sexually in the market. Let me devalue myself as much as possible to get this out of the way, and then deliver this and say, here, this is what I have left. That's basically what that sounds like.
What is devaluing about a woman, right? That will embrace her singleness, right? That does not mean she's outside having sex. That means that maybe she's not even dating nobody. Maybe she's just pouring into herself, seeing what she likes.
Now, Ash.
Wait, let me finish. Because right now it's just kind of like you have this idea in your head that's not realistic. You know what I'm saying? So you're just going off what you may have seen, but sometimes that just means you just pouring into yourself. You learning to love God first, right? You learning to see what your hobbies is, see what you want to do, see what you like, what you don't like. Oh, I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that.
What your adolescence
that doesn't necessarily mean that she's outside. She's hoeing. That don't mean that.
Hold on.
Why would you get that?
What you described is literally what your teens are for. Like your teenage years are for you to figure out what you like and what you don't like,
that is
and
not,
what foods you like.
Like,
what are we talking about here? Like, that's literally what your adolescence is for. Your adolescence is to experiment and learn. So once
when
you're
you are
18
18 years
and you're an
old,
adult, why you want to experiment then? That
when
kind of
you
doesn't
are
make sense.
18 years old, right? And I don't know who in here been to college, right? I've been to college when I was 18. When I went to college and when I turned 25, my mind wasn't the same thing. I was like, damn, I didn't really know who I was. I thought I wanted to go to school for this, but that's not who I was. It was just a perception of what you think you want to do because you don't have the experience. You get what I'm saying? So it's just kind of to say that's what your teens are for. No,
so then can we say
18-year-old
that Western
mindset is
women
not
have
the same
identity
thing.
crises? Should we
Yeah,
say then that
because
Western women have an identity crisis? Because why are so many women into their mid-20s, 30s, 40s still trying to discover who they are and what they are? Like that's something that you should be figuring out your environment, who you are, your sensibilities, and what you like from childhood till adulthood. Once you're an adult, once you're 25, when your brain fully fuses and forms, you should be pretty yourself at that point, right? Like by 25, you should be pretty much yourself.
Honestly, how
honestly,
old are you, Clout?
I've seen 10-year-olds, right, that know exactly who they are. Like they know what they want to do. They know what kind of foods they don't like. They know what kind of sounds they don't like, what music they like, how they like to dress. Like this is 10-year-olds we're talking about.
Clout,
but then we got grown women that have been to
Clout,
college.
how old are you? Can I
Right?
ask you, how old are
I'm
you?
37 years old.
Okay, so are you the same person you were 10 years ago? Do you have the same mindset 20
My personality has pretty much been the
That's
same.
not what I asked you. Is your
person.
perception of who you are still the same as a 27 year old?
My perception of who I am is absolutely the same. I've always been the same person internally. Yes, I've always been the same person.
Then
My attitude. For example, I work for myself now. For example, at 37, I work for myself. Right. I told myself when I was 9 years old, I was never going to work for nobody. I've known who I am my entire life.
Can I add something, please?
Yeah, go ahead. We're gonna go to Amir and then let's get time.
Yeah, I got something to say.
Ash said, Ash, you said, oh, I almost forgot it now because I was listening to Cloud. But Ash, you said something about what's wrong with a woman being older and, kind of being by herself. It doesn't mean that she's outside. It doesn't mean that she's doing anything wrong. She could be finding God and so on and so forth. My response to you is that a single woman is useless. She's useless to the world. She's useless to society. A single man is different. Men contribute more to the world than women. If tomorrow every woman in the whole world stopped working, we would barely even notice. But if tomorrow every man woke up and said, F it, I'm not going, everything will shut down. The whole world, the internet, electricity, even what is it called? Logistics, even the food that we eat is all brought, everything is by men. So Ash, to your point, a woman who is in her 40s trying to discover God or be on her own, she's useless. This is the reason why it's a problem. Women are helpful to their team, to their tribe. That's what women are useful for the tribe, for the family. Women are supposed to be the glue of a family. She's not supposed to be out there by herself. It's wrong for a woman to be out alone.
She said that she want to be selfish, Amira. And also,
think you guys are doing the extreme.
Also, real quick.
Hold on. No. We got to share the mic. Like I'm pretty sure we know who's been dominated. We do got to share it, man. We do got to share. We got some quiet folks. Let's get Ty in there. Let's get Angie and Luis in there too. I know they've been pretty quiet.
I just want to say, man, let's act like women not catching bodies in college, man. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, let's not front like women not catching bodies in college, man. Come on.
Are you done?
College is where they catch all of them.
Jeez.
Go ahead,
I've had a lot of thoughts. I'm just going to go back off of what Amira said. I will say that there is a clear cultural difference here, right? Because I don't disagree with what you said, especially as you expounded on your thought. But just the initial women are useless was like, to a woman that's grown up in America, I can just tell our mentality is totally different. right? Like we truly feel that we add more value than just what we can bring to the family. But the truth of the matter is, and like I stated, as you expounded, I did agree with you that if we did all decide to stop working, even though there are many women that are doctors, that are electricians, that do drive trucks, that do all of these things, but we don't dominate those fields, if we're being honest. If we all stopped working, it would honestly affect us the most, right? Like, who we go to get our hair done, who would fix our hair, our eyelashes, who would cook a lot of our food, things like that that we usually still do in the household. So I do agree with you there, but I do feel like it is a cultural thing. I don't agree necessarily with Clout saying that most people automatically already know who they are when they're teenagers. That is a really rough time in your life. There's a lot of different changes, especially going from 10, 12 to 15, 16, 17. You have a lot of emotional changes, hormonal changes. Your body is changing. You're feeling different things. So I don't think you know who you are until, like you stated, you hit about 25. You don't know who you are until you're there. So I do think you do need a bit more time to figure it out. But I do think from 25 and up, you should know, right? You should have a pretty
Right.
good idea. There is a
That's what I'm
basis
saying.
to you and your personality, of course, but you're still learning yourself. Now, I do want
Right.
to just go back to what Ash was stating. Like I stated in the beginning, we as Americans don't feel that there is anything wrong with a woman deciding to go find herself at 40 or 50 or 60, because we believe in being selfish. We believe in those times of going out and figuring out self, but then we don't really want to take up the repercussions that come along with that decision. Because when you decide to do that, and let's say you haven't had children and you've never been married, now you are committing to a life of loneliness. And then you'll have women that are older who have no one to actually take care of them, who have no one to protect them. Women do need protection. We do need covering. We were made to be covered, right? So it's not realistic for us to say that we don't need anybody. We don't need anything. That's only our mentality when we're young, when we're supple, when we can move around on our own. The older we get, we always looking for somebody to help. You see older ladies out there, they get upset if you don't ask to help them or get up when they have a seat or something. They always need assistance, where it's not that necessarily the same with men. Of course, men get older as well. They also need help, but women need that covering. So I just think it's once again coming down to a cultural thing. It's our mentality here in Western civilization. And I feel that we should make it more normal to not continue in pushing that propaganda that we should find ourselves later in life. You should find yourself earlier and
I
figure
got
out
some.
what you want. Okay.
I,
I
the,
yield because Louise wants to talk. Go ahead.
were you done though? Okay, good, good. Do any of you remember the interview with the Nigerian brother? Who's an actor who said, they're like, you guys coddle your kids here in America. Do y'all remember that interview? He was essentially saying like, we're telling grown adult folks who are in their 30s, 40s, 20s, oh, you're so young, you got plenty of time, and all this and that. We are inebriating them to the point that you have this is why the rise of the homosexual exists. This is why the rise of the man child exists. This is the reason why. You want to know why it exists and why there's actually a saying? That's the actual example. You as parents, now I'm not talking about any of y'all specifically, but you as parents out there coddle the shit out of y'all kids. And they grow up to be so weak in every aspect. This is why we have a rise in cockholes out here because they're barely useful. This is crazy. And this is the one of the biggest reasons why y'all these young people don't know anything about life. And the other thing I wrote down, I was like, Y'all as parents, like your child trying to discover and all this and that, y'all don't take your kids out enough. Take them to museums, plays, operas, travel, experience different cultures, other foods, different states, other countries. Get them a passport. Bring them with you. Let them explore the world. You're so busy trying to have your hot girl summer and be on yachts and all that stuff that you forget that your child actually wants to see the world as well. They want to see and experience it, as opposed to only you being the selfish individual. That's why these kids are growing up and trying to understand themselves. They don't have an understanding of who they are in the world because you don't usher that world to them. You don't walk with them in terms of all these different life experiences. Read with them. You know what I'm saying? God forbid people start picking up a book and actually reading to their kids. We wouldn't have grown full adults that are reading at a sub 5 grade level.
All right, let's go to Angie and then Ash. Then we come to Cloud.
Louise, I do agree that we need to put more emphasis on education. I think that if we had more knowledge and more education, we would be able to not only navigate other areas better, but definitely the romantic realm. And the other thing is, I just want to say that I think that because women having women being necessarily liberated, and I'm not talking about liberated specifically with sex, because I do feel like there should be some regard, there should be some practice of preservation, right? Because your body is precious and that does mean something. But I think that because society has been male dominated for so long, because women's liberation is relatively new, many men on a psychological level are threatened by women's autonomy, you know. And that's why you have so much pushback with when women say, if I'm single, I'm good for right now. That's not it's not saying I'm good forever. I never want to be with somebody, but it's saying at this part of my life, it's value in really making decisions and exploring, and not exploring things sexually, but exploring things in general. Because when we come into this world as individuals, not as men and women, we all have a purpose and we all have a value according to God. My value is not contingent upon what a man is willing to pay or the level of energy or attention a man is willing to give me. If he does give me that, then I'm able to say, okay, I choose that. And I feel like because women have the choice, it's threatening to a lot of insecure men or men that just haven't evolved on a psychological level to the point where it's just like, I understand a woman's value and I'm not threatened by that. I understand her contribution and I understand how she contributes to not only this relationship, but in her singleness, possibly she could contribute to the community. She could contribute to society. And I don't understand why that's a problem. Why does that have to be a negative thing or something that makes her less than qualifiable enough to get, I know I said that wrong, but to get married? It doesn't make practical sense. Y'all have to make it make sense outside of your ego.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Angie.
So
You,
you know,
you, you said that. Hold on. Let me ask you this one quick question. You said that men need to evolve. Can you elaborate specifically what is it that men need to evolve?
Men need to evolve as far
No,
as
evolve.
evolve.
Evolve. Yeah, you said evolve.
The ideal or paradigm as far as roles, because society has shifted in regards to what society demands from a man and a woman. We have to shift our expectations for each other. I'm not saying that the woman needs to be a leader, but I'm saying is men need to respect that women are individuals and we're not only made to just make your life better. We have a purpose outside of being with a man. Some of
Exactly.
us have a purpose outside of
Yeah, but I would argue, that men make women's lives every day easier. Let's
no.
be very honest. Yo, do you take for granted? Look. You take for granted given that the zip code in which you live in, but there are no bombs falling on your head, and there are no people outside homeless at your door. Also, you have the ability to call for fire, police, and everything else. You know what I'm saying? We have civilized and controlled the world in such a way that we take for granted. A lot of you don't have passports, and a lot of you have not stepped on enough continents out there. This does not apply. Please let it fly. But a lot of you need to get outside your 4 borough city. and go out into the world and really experience and take your kids with you so they can actually see this as well. But thank God I experienced this when I was young, man, because I would have been a freaking tyrant.
Ashley, speak your mind. Speak it.
Oh, hell no. I'm sick of y'all speaking y'all goddamn mind. That's a problem. Look, so
Hank,
you know what that woman had
you
her
speaking
value
your
was?
mind too.
Her value is that goddamn, yeah, she got value, man. I'm gonna sit there and say she got value for 20 goddamn minutes. That's the only value she has. It's a goddamn ragged ass vagina some man's gonna use and abuse and throw ass to the street. So she had 38 years to try to figure this shit out, but yet she still hasn't figured it out yet. Yeah, she's not choosing to be single. She's not. I said it before. She's not. No man chose to be with her ass because they realize her real value is zero, nothing, Nathan. She has none other than 20 minutes.
Baby,
She's
most
worthless.
value.
Who wants her stanky ass?
You
She's
want to
not
know
good
what's
with that. She can't do shit. What does she bring? She brings nothing. That's why she started talking about the men and all of the mental issues. No, ain't no men don't have the mental. That's the men she was choosing.
You know what's funny about what Angie said though?
Value. Nothing at all.
Hold on. I want to add something. You know what's funny about what you said, Angie, about, American women like to constantly explain how their value isn't centered around men or valued around family, right? But if you look at the industries that women predominantly enter, right? You look at the industries. You have childcare, which is essentially doing the same exact role but for hire, right? Childcare. You have healthcare, which is again nurturing role, right? Same thing. You have education, usually educating children, same exact role men asking you to play. And then the other one is sex work. Those are the 4 top industries that you find women working in. But yet women will consistently tell you that I don't need to work for a man or for a family, but then will leave the house to go do the same tasks. But instead of monetizing the tasks as a whole, they're monetizing them individually. So a sex worker is selling her vagina in transactions. A daycare worker is selling her nurturing instinct in smaller transactions for other people's children. Someone who's working in healthcare, but it's all the same thing. So it's actually kind of ridiculous to say that our purpose is beyond that. But when you try to find purpose outside of that, you go and do the same exact things. Doesn't make sense.
Go ahead, Ash.
Because your I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I literally had something to say back to the girl. She's not up here anymore, but when she said that if men stop working, nothing would basically get done, everything would fall apart. But and then I wanted to kind of chime in on Lewis when he was, speaking about history, but I don't think that anybody's really thinking about history about World War II, right? When most of the men went to war, women were the ones working in factories, doing a lot of the things that their men were doing, and America still kind of thrived. So to kind of say that this is not to you, Viz, or anybody else, it was just kind of me piggybacking off of what the girl basically said. I'm just kind of like, that's not true at all. Another thing, I hear everybody speaking about purpose, but I don't think people really understand what that is. In order for you to understand what your purpose is, you got to get a connection with God. Only God can tell you your purpose because God is the one who created it. In order for you to understand your purpose, you need to have a relationship with God. And that requires you to pour into God first, right? Not into a man, not seeking a relationship with nobody else, but that relationship and you understanding your purpose, right, is the time where you're supposed to be single. So when I say you being single, that is you pouring into yourself, you pouring into God, getting a relationship with God. That does not mean you outside hoeing. That does not mean these type of things.
I
Also, women, can I finish speaking?
Go ahead. You got it.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
You got it, but you finna get cooked, but go ahead.
I appreciate it. Yeah, let me cook. You know what I'm saying? I'm on fire right now. All right. So,
all you're doing is seasoning yourself up for me.
That's fine. Anyway.
That smoke detector's going off so bad you cooking so good. Go ahead, Ash. Do your thing.
I took the battery out and it's still doing that. It's crazy. But yeah,
You took the right battery out. You know how to pick the battery out. I need a man over there to help out.
No, you couldn't have. You could.
I did. I promise you, if I show
Hey.
you right now, the battery
Wait,
is
but
out.
Well,
Ash,
But
Ash,
oh yeah,
hold on.
so
She's not finished.
You're not
yet.
done.
so yeah,
Damn,
no, I really feel like a lot of times men, you guys don't understand that in order for us to be good women and good wives, for you got to understand our purpose and understand the type of man that we need, the type of man that fits us, because we're going to go under you, right? And submit to submit to you. So in order for us to help and be a nurturer and help build your vision or to add on to your purpose, we got to understand what our purpose is and what our role is, right? And that's the difference between having a good woman that's going to uplift you or bring you down. You guys don't match, and she don't understand her purpose and her role. And a woman has a role and a purpose outside of just the man. It's not just a man gives her purpose. I have a purpose outside of me having a man. That's all I'm going to say.
All right, I have to respond because I love when y'all bring up religion, right? And bring up God.
damn,
with this
JR,
because
you can't.
y'all talk about essentially how you have your own purpose, but if we go to any reference in the Bible, your purpose biblically is towards your man. It literally says that the hierarchy goes from God to man, man to woman, woman to child. The Bible also says that when like scripture is being spoken, or like in the church, women are actually supposed to be silent. And if they want to learn about scripture, they're supposed to consult with their husband outside of church. So it's so ironic that I hear so many women say that they have to focus on their relationship with God. But if you understand the scripture, you don't have a relationship with God unless you have a relationship with the man, because your relationship with your husband is how you get your connection through God, because he's your covering. God doesn't communicate directly with women. And that's been clear in the Bible since day one, which is why your covering comes from a man. That's literally how the hierarchy works. The Bible tells man to love his wife the way Christ loved the church, because, again, Christ is the head of man, but man is the head of woman. So for you to go, so that would be like me trying to pray to God without doing it in Jesus' name. Y'all be trying to get to Christ without going through a man. And that doesn't work biblically. How does that make any sense? How can you find your own personal relationship with God when you haven't gotten under the covering of a man? It literally doesn't fit biblical standards. But y'all continue to say, oh, I'm just focusing on my connection with God. You're really not. You're focusing on your connection with yourself. You're focusing on your connection with your own ego. Because if you really wanted to have a closer connection with God, the only way you would, the thing is, the fact that you can't even submit to a man means that it would be impossible for you to submit to God. Because how do you show your submission to God? Through your submission to your husband. The Bible literally says this, if you know it. So to me, it's just crazy hearing these conversations so much. It's like, there is no woman getting to God throughout man, biblically.
Pause. That's not true.
Well, that's not true, Cloud. Okay?
Yeah,
Jesus
I
is
agree
God,
with you
right?
to
Biblically.
a certain degree. Biblically, I read the Bible. I know the Bible. Biblically, I understand to a certain degree you are correct. Old Testament was very much so that women could not speak. You did have to consult your man after Christ. New Testament, we had prophets that were women. So that is not necessarily true. God does speak to women. Let's not just say we deaf ears on God.
What prophet you talking about? What prophet in the Bible was a woman? Hold on. What are we talking about?
We literally just talked about this in church on Sunday.
Not even just wait. I just don't even want to say the prophet.
I wasn't at your church. You got to tell me.
Mary Magdalene, right, was also along with the 12 disciples. Jesus, right?
When Jesus Bible went to read that in?
Wait, which Bible did you read? When Jesus went to the well, right, and there was a lady, and she was not a Jew.
A servant.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
She was a servant.
But what
are you talking about?
Listen. Not just she just wasn't a servant, because if she was just a servant, then why did God allow her, right, the two Marys, to see and witness him coming out of the rising? You get what I'm saying? Their testimony. Hold on, let me finish speaking real fast, Aisha. Their testimony alone was the testimony that said God, Jesus rose from the dead. So no other man besides
giving a testimony of what they saw.
Let me finish talking. I did not cut you off, Cloud. What I'm saying is that's not true at all. So if you want to sit here and speak about it, women did speak to God, Jesus, right? God, Jesus
Well,
is just
No,
God
no,
in
no,
a
no, no.
manifestation into a
well,
human form.
well no.
So you cannot say that.
So
We're not.
technically, hold on, Cloud. Technically, God did speak to Sarah. God told Abram, to listen to his wife, and that was because God spoke to Sarah, and that's in the Old Testament. So there are instances where God does speak
She
to
was under her
women.
husband's covering. She had a husband. You're talking
Right.
about married women who were covered under their husbands. There are no single women who had no husband that were just having connection with God.
Yes,
That's not true.
Mary was a
Miriam
prostitute.
was
She wasn't
not
married.
Miriam. No, not
I don't know what
Magdalene.
y'all talking.
Miriam was married
Which
for
is Mary
7 years.
Magdalene. It's the same name, same person. It's just
That's
a
not
different.
Okay, then I'm naming the wrong person. But there was a woman, Miriam, right? She can't
Miriam
be.
is not the.
Mary Magdalene's name was
woman.
Mariamne. It was Mariamne. That's how it translates, but it also translates
Miriam
Miriam.
is not
Miriam was
Miriam
the
though.
sister of
That's a
Aaron,
totally
Aaron,
different
and
person.
Moses.
Hold on. It was a woman in the Bible. She was married for 7 years. Her husband died. And
She was
from there
covered by
on,
her
she
husband because
continued.
he was her husband. She had a husband.
Continued for
Anna,
7
A
years. She
widow
got
is
married
still
when she was
covered by
15.
her
Cloud, let
husband.
me finish. He died. She spent the rest
She's a
of her
widow.
years continuing to go to church and being a prophet on behalf of Jesus and God.
You're not disproving me.
is a
She was
prophet.
covered by her husband.
She
Being
was
a
not,
widow,
because he was dead.
being a widow
She was
does not mean that she's
widowed
lost
for
her
37
covering.
years. What do you
Being a
mean he wasn't
widow,
there? I'm saying
being a
you said the
widow
only
does
way
not
you can
make a
get
woman
closer to
lose
God
her
is
covering.
through your husband. I'm just saying that's not 100% true.
Name
Because
me
if
an
your husband is
unmarried
not
woman.
there, she
Name
never
me an
got remarried,
unmarried
and she
prophetess.
had a direct relationship with God herself. She was also a prophet.
Name
Let's not
me
just act like
an
women didn't have that
unmarried,
role
a
at all.
never wed. Name me an unmarried, never wed prophetess. Name one in the Bible, please. I'll wait for you.
Deborah, she was the one that was in charge of the military.
Deborah was not a prophet. She was in the Bible, but she was not a prophet. We're saying someone who you're claiming was a prophet or a disciple, right?
She is a prophet. It literally
Oh my
says
God.
women
All right.
prophets in the
All
Old
right.
Testament. Deborah
All right. Okay. All
was
right.
a prophet. She
Okay.
she told
Okay.
what God commanded.
Okay, y'all got it.
Also,
Y'all got it.
Cloud,
Y'all
it's
got it.
impossible for a
What is a
woman to
prophet,
even.
Cloud? What is a
It's
prophet
impossible.
in your
You're the one claiming she's a prophet, so you tell me. The
a
burden of
prophet
proof
is
is on
someone
you.
who God speaks to directly and they're able to give the message to the people, correct? On behalf of God.
So show me where Deborah was a judge. Deborah was not a prophet. I don't know where you heard Deborah was a prophet. I don't know where you got that from. She was a judge. That was her earthly position, was a judge. So again, I don't know what Bible y'all are reading. Y'all making stuff up. You never read nothing in the Bible that said Deborah was a prophet. You never heard that.
Let's go ahead and get back on track, y'all. Back down memory lane.
Question: Cloud, can a woman be saved outside of a man?
Man, I thought JL said let's get back on topic, and Angie, you're gonna take us right back left. You hard-headed, heifer.
Hit the wrong button.
Thank God for that.
You have to curse you out, Hank.
Look at Jesus.
Amen.
No, she did wrong. Keep hitting that hookah.
Hank, stay in your lane. Okay, you got a lot of learning to do. Stay in your lane.
Hey, but back on the topic though, Angie had said something earlier where she stated that men are intimidated by women's value or something like that. Real men aren't intimidated by women's value because they understand the value that women bring. So it doesn't make sense for a man to be intimidated by something that they understand the power of and that they're looking for. What men are typically intimidated by, if you were to use that word, is women that choose to be confrontational. They want to give resistance to them being led, or even us working together. Just how Aisha had pointed out earlier, that that we have to be balanced. We both have to be lukewarm. And where we know in science that you have to have duality. All things in nature, all things in this universe is literally of duality. So it's not I'm intimidated by it. It's are you going to be intentionally rebellious to the fact that we have to come together and work as one? That's what I think that turns off men for the most part. But real men aren't intimidated by women's value, because that's what men are looking for and in search of.
It's hard for me to believe that you understand a woman's value when every time a woman tries to state her point of view, or when she says something, it's always turned into, okay, if it does not involve a man, then it's not good. It doesn't contribute. You're not being honest. It's
So then
all
who is
these
the
things.
value to? Sorry, I'm thinking
Wait,
out
say
loud.
it
My bad.
again. Say it again.
I'm saying that it's hard to believe that you understand a woman's value, but when a woman professes her value, it has to be turned into something negative, or it has to be what is the word I'm looking for? Suppressed, if that makes sense.
Well, no, from my perspective, and this goes for men and women. This goes for people. You don't have to profess your value. Your value is what you are. Is how you carry yourself. Is how you present yourself. Is how you talk. So again, to me, if I'm hearing a person speak on the context that she was talking on, and the first thing that we hear, or the way that the video is being cut up at least, is that, oh, I'm confident in myself, I love myself, I love my body. You're pointing out, to me it sounds like you're pointing out the very flaws that you think that you have, and these are the reasons as to why I'm not married, I'm not I don't have any kids. This is why I was engaged however many times, and none of them worked. So to me, that's what I hear when somebody, if a man walks around and say, "Oh, I'm an alpha man," to me, you're not an alpha man, because alpha men don't do that. So if you have to tell people what your value is, then that's not really your value, because you don't have to say it. It carries and follows in everything that you do.
I think that when you're leading, go ahead, babe.
I just wanted to read out the definition of value and point out one particular word that I think is important. So the definition of value is the regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. And I think that the active word is usefulness, right? Your value is determined by how you can be used by others often. So gold is valuable because people can use it as a medium of exchange. A car might be valued to someone because they can use it to get from place to place. For a woman to say that she holds value while simultaneously trying the best to be not useful to the opposite sex would mean that you don't have value. Like, you can't be valuable if you're not useful. And the only other people that exist on the planet besides other women are men. So your value is obviously not going to be to women, because you're obviously not going to be useful to a woman, because a woman already has all of the capabilities that you have. So you don't need another woman in your life. And so the only way you would be useful is if your value was to a man, because that's the only person that could use you in a way at all. So again, it's like this idea of having worth independent of a society is not realistic. You have to have others involved in order to have value, or in order to have worth.
I feel like men who think like you need to.
That's a definition. It's not how I think. It's a definition of a word. That's not how I think.
Powerful. I feel like you have to have a woman under you in order to feel powerful.
If that was the case, I'd be married.
What you say?
If I needed a woman under me to feel powerful, I'd be married.
No, you can just have these derogatory views and opinions of women to feel powerful.
But see what you're doing right now is gaslighting, because I didn't share a view or opinion. What I shared with you was a definition of a word, and the word says that value comes from usefulness. I didn't make that up. That's not my opinion. That's not my feelings. That's the definition of what value is. So if you're going to use the word value, you should understand what it means. Value is directly related to usefulness. If you cannot be used, you're not valuable.
Baby, I don't need like a man. What I'm saying is, you don't
all
have
people
to
need anybody that can't be used is useless. Anybody that can't be used. All people need to be useful or they're useless.
Why do I have to be?
We all use one another. I'm not talking about misusing one another, but we all use each other. So again, if you can't be used and if your whole purpose in existence is to not be used, then you're useless. And if you're useless, you have no value.
That's not what I'm arguing.
Well, look here, hey, Angie, why don't you continue to be useful and blow up on that goddamn hook and be quiet, man? Just tap out. He can get you out.
You just mad because you can't have the hookah.
I know I ain't mad. No, I got weed.
I'm happy you cleared that up, Clout. You know, you kind of saved yourself by saying anybody, because at first I'm just like, okay, you said you ain't married, but at the same time you saying, you know, people got to be useful, but you know, you cleaned it up some, because I was about to ask you, so what are you doing as, you know, you're not married, you're not in a relationship, so I was just about to say, like, how are you useful? But you know, I ain't gonna say it.
Oh no, I'm gonna be useful if I'm dating a woman and she needs masculine things done. I'm gonna beat it. You need the heavy stuff lifted. You need me to fix your fence. I'm doing all of that because that's how I'm useful. So
now,
yeah,
I
I'll
do
be useful.
Now to piggyback off of what Angie said, right, when she said that men aren't evolving, right? Because honestly, right, that actually struck a thought in my head. Women, we can kind of do those things ourselves. What are you bringing to the table besides you picking up some furniture or whatever the case may be? You know what I'm saying? Because I like to tinker. Like, I like to put stuff together myself. I can do that. That's a good mental stimulation for me. I don't need a man to put my furniture together. So it's just
do you want to do that?
Huh?
Do you want to do that?
I just said like it's a good mental stimulation for me because I get to
don't sit there and say that, and you just sit there and talked about that goddamn smoke together. Smoke detector. You talking about
all of a sudden she's little Miss Carpenter. All of a sudden,
I'm only 5'1".
She a carpenter now. I can't change the battery though, right?
Well, how about you get a chair?
I'm only 5'1".
You got a chair?
Once
you got a chair, ain't you sitting on the chair right now? Get a chair and step your little ass up there.
I got high ceilings, so I need a ladder or something. But I like to put stuff together.
These are the same women that can't open
call your
sauce.
Maintenance man.
Like
call your maintenance man.
Same women that can't open
sauce. Man or something.
Wait, what you say, Clout?
If everything came in a jar, y'all would starve to death.
No. I'll probably
if everything came in a jar, y'all would starve to death.
That's a lie. You use a
butter
knife.
I'm just
top and you
right.
Who
forged that butter? What blacksmith forged that butter knife?
Do that.
You think it was a woman who beat that damn butter knife into existence?
I didn't say that metal wasn't valuable. That's not my argument.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't my argument. My argument is I open the jar. If everything I need to open it.
Outside of the building and picking stuff up, like what? Because nowadays women do require men to bring things outside of what our grandfathers did, was just basically just to, you know, to provide in a financial type of sense. Of, like, most of the time we just need that.
That's not even true. I'm sorry. I gotta
think it is, Louise.
I think that's no. Hold on. Gentlemen, do you think that life was much harder today or back in 1940?
Back in 1940, what? Chopping your own wood, making your own butter, and wasn't no electricity like that. No phone. You had to walk a mile to get on the phone, riding horses. You kidding me?
I'm not.
Hold on. Don't cut me off. Don't cut me off.
She didn't say
y'all
life was
stuff
easier or harder.
Granted.
She said women want more than just man providing now, and I agree with that. Women
they want to be men now.
Emotional connection. Women want more men to be more emotionally available.
That's a lie. There's a ton of wives. There's a ton. Hold on.
A wife. Y'all want wives.
There's a ton of dudes out here who are single and childless and do all right for themselves, who are not starving. And I promise you, they were raised by a good mother who probably told them, you know, make sure you buy her flowers, you bring a box of candy and do all the right things, right? But the problem is that those women are not sexually attracted to those types of things, and it's not so much of his physical look, it's just more of the accents and the services, right? The reality is that, and I love my mom for this. My mom told me all these conversations that you're having now at a later age. My mom told these things at younger, and I used to look at my mom like, "Ma, you a misogynist?" And I used to be like, and shit. And then until you get older and you go through them shits and you like, oh fuck, she was onto something, right? Unfortunately, a lot of you women don't have these uncomfortable conversations about women's dark truth matters to them as a young boys. That's the reality is, right? Because this is the problem. And Clout, check this out. A hoe who is a mother will never tell her son, a hoe who is a mother will never tell her son that she was once a hoe and tell her how hoes move. She'll tell her treat the hoe like like a virgin. That's the reality of the matter.
That's not true either.
And she'll tell her daughter that she was a hoe and how to get that money out these niggas.
Hold on, let me explain why I'm saying this. I have a friend who is his mother is very open about her past. She has boys, and she always raised them to believe in, like you said, they thought she was like harsh towards women, but she let them know that women can move a certain type of way, especially women that were like her when she was younger. So you shouldn't treat every woman the same. You shouldn't treat every woman like a queen. There are going to be some women that you just sleep with and move on, or you treat them how they are presenting themselves. So that's not true. I feel like we always try to just generalize everybody into this one scope of reality, and that's not real. We're constantly only talking about the extreme. This extreme woman who only wants a man that's going to give her an 8-bedroom house, when there are plenty of women that will do with just that 3-bedroom regular house and wants that man that's going to bring them flowers. We only talk about the man who only wants that built body woman who never had anything, or like only thinks a certain type of way, when that's not true. We're always only talking about the extremes when we're not talking about the full picture. You clearly have women on this panel as well who don't believe that. I don't believe that. I wasn't raised like that. I don't go after men for money. I go after men for what they can provide to me fully, a full picture of what you can provide for me. Just like you want peace from me, I want to feel peaceful with you as well. I want to make sure that we're both healed. I want to make sure that we both can pour into each other. And it doesn't have to be bring all your money to the table and that's what we run it with. That's just not real in my reality. I feel like we run with what social media is constantly pushing out there, and we act like that's all we ever encounter. And that's not true.
I find it very interesting when men talk about their experiences and the things that they go through. It's always met with like a lot of contention and it's a lie and stuff like that. But then we've already adopted this idea and this culture of, believe all women, everything what they say and do, right? And sort of like what men's experience have now taken a backseat to them able to like, hey, like I don't feel comfortable about this, or I don't like this, or like, oh, you shouldn't have an opinion, like shut up and stuff like that. And sort of now we're doing this like, hypocritical double standard type bullshit, right? And some of you are being a little bit obtuse about it.
When have I ever been obtuse about it? I mean, let's keep it a buck.
But time.
Time.
Hold on. Time.
I'm talking about the men. I'm talking about both sides.
You need to operate. You need to operate in your own lane, because you are the exception and not the rule. You are a little bit higher. You're a little bit higher of a cut than you are than the lower part of the rag. I need you to stop. I need you to stop trying to swim in the ocean and stick to the private pool that you are in.
That you're from.
It's much cleaner. You keep trying to save these heathens.
Waterfalls.
For real. Lou ain't shit. Lou, I'm not gonna let you take shots at Angie like that. Only I can take shots at Angie. Don't you do that, Lou.
You're moving too fast, all right?
You down to that level. Here she go. Here she go.
I just want everyone to start. My thing is, you say that, but me and my friends and the people that I encounter are like me and think like me. So that is my reality. I only see these extremes via social media. I don't run into these extremes on a daily basis with men or women. So when people talk about this, whether it's a woman talking about all men are trash, all men are dogs, they not worth nothing, they only see us for vaginas, or you hear men talking about all women are hoes and stuff, that's not real. I feel like we're never really talking about what we're really dealing with on a day-to-day basis. That's not real. I'm not that rare. There are a lot of women like me. There are a lot of men like y'all on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah,
So,
I
so
agree
Ty,
with
you
that.
sit
You
there and
think
make
so?
that statement
You
that,
think
that a
so?
lot
'Cause
of
you hang
women are
with
like you, but we seen on what was on the panel, and we seen it was 6 women up here, and 5 of them was all with the same trash ass mindset. They said, "I'm not working with no man. I'm not building a man. That man lose his job, he gone. He don't stand the goddamn chance." You are the only woman who said, "I will be willing to work with a man who's making 40,000." Now, this lady right beside me, she know who I'm talking about. I ain't gotta say no name. She said, "I'm quitting that man. I'm not struggling. How long I got to pay for this?" So don't sit there and say most of them like it. Angie like that, and I heard Ash on Thursday night. She was professing the same goddamn thing.
What, Ash? Not me?
Yes, ma'am.
What you
Yes,
hear
she
me
was.
say?
Yes, ma'am.
What you hear me say?
Hank, you
You
a
sit there
ball.
and say you said
What you
you
hear me say?
wouldn't build a man. You said you wouldn't build with a man.
You ain't hear me say that.
You
Hey,
ain't hear
but
me say.
so the thing is, and I agree with Ty because
I'm not
I
building a man.
personally I haven't heard a lot of
About
the.
it. This isn't build a bear. I'm not building a man. I
Speak
would
your
rather
truth, man.
be prepared.
I speak your truth,
I
Aisha.
am not a
Speak your
therapist.
truth.
I need you to come to me already healed. Okay.
Ain't you married already?
No, actually, my husband is no longer here with us. But I was married for
My
17 years.
condolences. My condolences.
Yeah,
Man.
I married my high school
Oh,
sweetheart,
RIP.
and I did the whole white picket fence. I did all of that stuff. And it's hard out here for a pimp, to be honest.
God damn.
See what I mean?
She
They want
said
to be
a
like
pimp.
niggas. See, notice she said pimp.
But I
She's
think
a
that the
masculine
goddamn
role.
problem
pimp.
is that I know my value as a woman, but he also taught me my value and gave me my value. So all of the things that I do normally, like Amira, she's off the panel,
Hey,
but
you got value from a man?
she mentioned
Wow.
how she cooked from scratch. Girl, we ain't been whole soul food, baby. We've been cooking from scratch since scratch was a thing. Baby, I cook literally 4 to 5 days a week, like two meals a day. I cook a lot.
Y'all wasn't talking all that when she was here though. Y'all was
She-
real quiet when she said that when she was here. Now she going, all of y'all cook from scratch all of a sudden?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, Aisha been pimping.
All right. I
I've
don't
been
know who
talking,
you
I've been talking
calling.
about the woman behind a goddamn back.
One
Nice.
mic, y'all.
Just left. Cause Ash wanted to respond to what she said. She had just dropped off.
I was quiet like
But
this when she was
she
here.
said all of that in that one sentence. And I was just like Ty said, we have different values. You know, the things that we value culturally in the way that we move are different. Because in my opinion, I agree with Ash, baby. If we stop doing shit, it's over for y'all. The world.
Hold on, ladies. Ladies. Quick question for the ladies. When the last time one of y'all made some bread from scratch?
Yesterday.
I literally
God
just
damn.
did.
Like,
I literally
It is
just made
not
bread.
that hard.
He ain't talking
Damn
about what you
right.
made out on the stove.
I didn't ask you
He
if it
ain't
was
talking
hard
about
or
what
not.
you made
I
out
asked
on
you
the
what
stove.
I'm
you
just
asked.
He's
saying,
talking
if you
about
know how to make bread,
and
you'll see that it's not
flour
that
and all
hard.
that.
I
Come
didn't
on,
ask
man.
you if
Just
it was
made
hard or
bread
not.
from scratch for Thanksgiving.
You see, hold on. You see what y'all did right there? She just gonna go say, oh, it's not that hard. But notice, I didn't ask if it was hard or not. I asked when the last time y'all did it.
I said yesterday, and then I said if you knew how to make it, you would see that it's really not that hard.
I answered the question as well.
I made fresh biscuits
I didn't hear your answer.
Sunday, but I don't know
I
if that's
said Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Capping.
Everybody keeps
Y'all ain't made no damn bread.
And
I'm
they can't boil
Caribbean. I'm not
They
Jamaican.
can't boil water.
When the last time
They
you made
can't boil
cheese from
water,
scratch?
Clown.
I'm
When the last
not
time you
They
made
can't
cheese
boil
and butter
water,
from
Clown.
scratch?
cheese from
I've
scratch.
never made
I'll eat
cheese or butter from
Yeah.
scratch.
But
Well,
yeah,
I-
I'm
I ain't say
Nigerian
no
and
when she said
African.
that. That's some
We
churning.
gotta
I
our
ain't
culture a
never
little bit different.
did
Work
that.
harder, not
Yeah, y'all
smarter.
gotta get your
We
turning
are
up.
We
not
ain't never
doing
did that one.
Yeah, we ain't
But
Well,
doing
I
Yeah.
Viz,
think
what
What
was
happened
Viz
to the
saying?
traditional women that churn butter? What happened to them ladies?
We didn't
I
turn
mean, that
up.
was doing all this
BS,
with the
what were
butter.
you saying?
AI.
What
Well,
happened to
I
the men
think
that
on both
that
sides.
built
So
their houses?
so on both sides, I
Yeah.
think men and
Yeah.
women, there's a lot of things that they don't do traditionally anymore, right? We got men that don't know how to change a tire or change oil or whatever the case may be. In the same way, we have plenty of women that don't know how to cook and don't want to learn how to cook. So it's definitely a trade-off on both ends of where again we're pacifying everybody wants to be individualized, and they don't want to take on these basic roles that made up a family, that made up masculinity and femininity. So if we're asking for men to evolve, right, men are essentially evolving because that's what women want. So we now have softer men, right? Women say that you want an emotionally intelligent man, but then you'll go right behind it and call the man sassy for voicing how he feel. So it's this trade-off that women, I would say, for the most part, will point out that they want, and you really don't want it, because when you get it, then you sabotage it. And that goes back to the first woman. Everything that she talked about, it simply sounded like she's been sabotaging all these relationships, and now she's in this position, and she doesn't want to fess up for it. She don't want to take accountability for it. So and going back to what Ty was talking about as well, me personally, I never heard a lot of these perspectives and viewpoints of people that I knew in person until I got into this internet space. And then even then it was like, what, how the hell, you know what I'm saying, is this even like going on right now? But the fact of the matter is that it is. And again, going back to the original video, you have men and women that are making these statements that they clearly don't agree with in private, but they're saying it in public. So now you're infesting. I always say, if you're one to say that it's piss and shit in a dating pool, then you are the person that's pissing and shitting in it. Because every time you say that, you're spreading this message. Now, and real quick to address Vic, changing the oil on a car is not complicated. Changing a tire on a car is not complicated. It's just as complicated as cooking. If you don't know how to cook, then you don't know how to cook. If you don't know how to change a tire, you don't know how to change a tire. It's very simple
It's a little less
functions.
complicated than cooking. I ain't gonna lie. Changing
It's
the tire, I mean,
definitely
it's
a lot less complicated, because now
click,
you
screw,
don't
screw.
you
It's
don't have
really
to
not that hard.
measure. You don't have to measure the salt. You don't have to know
No
how much
temperature.
flour, sugar. So it's one of those things that we just simply have to keep it a buck across the board, that men and women are not teaching younger men and women how to do basic shit, because everybody wants to be selfish. Going back to Ash's point when she first came in, they want to be selfish. They want to go through college, gain all of these bodies while they saying that they finding themselves and being single. It all comes with the territory. We not stupid. We all grown here. We all look good here. I'm pretty sure everybody done caught some bodies in college. So come on,
Listen.
we know what the business is. Keep it a buck here.
But for the record, also, I want to say, fellas, like, you definitely need to know how to change a tire. You definitely, you know what I'm saying? You definitely should know how to change your spark plugs. If you don't have tools at all, like if you don't have like a box with tools at all, like that's a problem. To me, that's like a woman having a purse and she don't got no napkins in there, no makeup, no mints or nothing. Like, you gotta have something in your purse, shorty. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Sanitizer, just nasty.
No hand sanitizer. You feel me? Like, oh, that's another thing.
Hey, man.
Yeah, ladies, y'all need to get on that. Like, y'all need to start having some useful stuff in your bags, like the ladies back in the day, because y'all don't be having nothing in your purse. Like, I used to ask my mom for a mint. She pull out a mint. She pull out a mirror. She could pull out a Q-tip. She pull out makeup. Whatever you need, mom had in that bag. So y'all need to get up on that. But fellas, definitely, You need to have some tools. You feel me? You should be able to fix most basic things in the house. You should be able to patch a hole in the drywall. I mean, you should be able, like, that's common sense, like, for sure. So if your woman is telling you can't,
if
you're
your
weak for not being
toolbox
able to
don't
do that,
have
then that's
wheels,
okay.
if your toolbox don't have wheels, you ain't got no goddamn tools. You might as well be Bob the Builder.
Shit,
That was the sexiest thing
I
you
ain't saying,
said tonight.
I ain't saying it gotta be that. I ain't saying, listen, I ain't saying you gotta be Bob Vila.
Little
You know what I mean? You ain't gotta be Tim the Toolman Turner and all here, but you should be able to fix basic issues around the house.
But clout.
Wait, hold on.
You don't gotta
Luis,
be able
real
to build
quick.
a hot rod, brother. You feel me?
Real quick. Hey, so clout. I worked I did security bouncing at a club for about 8 years. One of the most common things that I found in women's purses when they came in the club was dildos and vibrators.
God damn.
that is crazy. That's crazy.
Angie, why you rolling like that in the club, man?
I ain't gonna lie,
like
though.
that in the club, Angie.
That's weird.
In the club.
Hold on, I just gave y'all a pro tip though. I just gave y'all a pro tip because
No.
that's a huge turnoff. If I'm out on a date with a girl and I
I
ask for some
literally
tissue,
said that while he
she
was
can't reach in her bag and get some tissue, that's a huge turnoff for me. So y'all got to get your bag game right, ladies. Please make sure you have some essentials in your bag, please, because that's what it's there for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but clout, we had this conversation on King Talk like a year ago, with a few of us, and one of the things that was brought about is, you know, why these young boys don't know how to do things, and they're in the house, they're playing Xbox or they're on the computer. When you need to change the tires on the car, on the family car, bring your son with you. You need to change the oil on your car, take your son with you. If you have to wash the car, bring your son with you. If you need to get some supplies or appliances at Home Depot, Lowe's, wherever hardware store you go to, bring your child with you. Because when you do that, they see what you're doing, they're learning, and you're also walking them through the experience. People find too much comfortability in trying to Google shit. That is fine for things you might not know that are on a higher expertise level. But for the basic foundation, starting off, you need to be exposed to these things. You need to be where they are, where they go, and how to really solve the issue. People are way too comfortable not really bringing their kids along and seeing them the process of how to think. If you're into electronics and computers, show your kid like how you took this computer apart, how you put it back together, and how it goes back together, and the reasons why you did what you did. You'd be amazed how much they pick up, and they still want to learn from you. And that right there plants a seed for something greater to grow down the road. So I think we can't get away from that.
That's true, you know, because the funny thing is, my son asked me, "Daddy, can I use your tool so I could change my oil?" I said, "Yeah, come on over, man. We can get in the garage. We can make it happen. No problem. As long as you return them to where they're supposed to go." I got them lined up. That's how the order is. If you don't put it back, don't use my shit no more.
All right. We're going to go ahead and close with Ash, and then we get to the super chats. Go ahead, Ash. You want to say something?
You on mute.
She must be on the phone or something.
Yeah, I think she's trying to put a work order in with her maintenance man to get that.
Y'all hear me?
Smoke detector.
Now she needs to fix her Wi-Fi and her smoke detector.
Y'all can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear beat too.
Y'all can hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I wanted to speak to Viz. I think I grew up with Caribbean parents, right? My father is Jamaican, right? And I only hear American men speak on cooking. Like, and where I'm from and where I grew up, the Jamaican men did most of the cooking, and that's part of my culture. It didn't mean make a man or woman less masculine or more feminine because they cook. I grew up saying men cook, and that was masculine in my household. Like,
but Jamaican women are masculine as hell.
So hey, let her finish, Clout.
Can I speak, Mister? Okay, thank you. I don't get what you're saying. You saying like they're masculine, but they're all married, so I don't get it. But anyway, most of them are married. But what I'm saying is I kind of grew up seeing like my father cooked, my father cleaned, my mother was doing most of the working, and my mother still came home and she still respected my father. And the same goes for us as being like a kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like when I hear American men speak like that, it's weird because I feel like learning how to cook is essential. It's not a woman's responsibility to know how to cook. Is survival. I think that that's something that everybody should know how to do. Like I have sons and daughters. All of my kids know how to cook. You know what I'm saying? My sons know how to cook. Only thing my daughters don't do is just take out the trash. You know what I'm saying? But they do everything else that their
Well,
brothers
if a man is supposed to be
hold
providing,
on,
right?
Cloud.
If a man is supposed to be providing, let me just real quick. If a man's supposed to be providing, like we always hear, when is he supposed to have the time to be cooking these meals? And right, and if he's providing and you're not providing, then what are you doing? Why can't you cook the meals? So I hear what you're saying that Jamaicans cook and all that, but also like I'm Jamaican too. So Jamaican women are masculine as hell and they run the household. Let's keep it 1,000. Like Jamaican men are not like, and the reason why a lot of Jamaican women even like American men, a lot of times their reasoning for saying it is because they're more aggressive and they're a little bit more dominant. Like Jamaican men are not particularly aggressive. They're very easygoing, and Jamaican women tend to be the more domineering ones. So that's why you find that dynamic specifically in Jamaica.
No. So for me, there's a respect level. Like I said, I don't feel like being masculine doesn't mean you're aggressive, because masculine energy isn't aggressive. It's actually it's confident, it's subtle.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Like it's more of an energy, like a boss energy. When you go in the room, you can tell. Can I finish speaking? You can tell who the boss is because how he carry himself. So it's not loud, it's not boastful, it's normally calculated. You're laid back, you're watching the room. You get what I'm saying? It's like that. So I don't necessarily correlate aggressiveness with masculine energy. So maybe the Jamaican women may be a little bit more flamboyant. They may have big personalities, but they still respect their men and they still allow their men
they're
to
the more
lead.
aggressive ones.
But my mother's not Jamaican though. It's my father.
Yeah. So all
I
right.
don't
So
call them
Ash,
aggressive. Like I said, they're a little bit more flamboyant.
I think you're just sensitive to the word
Ash,
aggressive.
wait,
I
hold
think
on.
you view the word aggressive as like a negative word when all like aggressive means bad or mean. And I'm just saying that that's just the nature of masculine energy. It tends to be a little bit more aggressive. That's all it is. It's not like this, aggressive, like he's kicking in the door, beating everybody over the head with a club. It's like y'all love to jump to these extremes. Like obviously masculinity is aggressive. I think that's a common sense understanding of everybody. This is why also sports is such a big thing. This is why sports is such a big thing amongst men, because it's a way for men to display that aggression, which is why we love seeing aggressive behavior in sports. We like seeing people get tackled. We like seeing a dunk. We like seeing people get crossed. We like all of that. Why? Because it represents the aggressive nature of male. I don't know why we're acting like we don't know that men are aggressive.
I understand that, but I believe that feminine energy, right, especially as far as women, because we're more emotionally driven than men. Men are more logical. That's how your brain is, right? Biologically, we don't think the same and our brains don't function the same way. So what I'm saying is feminine energy is normally more chaotic because we have more thoughts. We kind of act out of emotion. When men are more logical, you're going to think before you think before you react. So when
aggressive
I think
and
about
chaotic are not synonyms.
wait a minute, let me finish. When I think about aggressive behavior, I don't think about a man that's mature and understand his masculine energy, because that's not what it is. And
right, you have a bias toward aggression. Like
normally get when
let me answer the question.
I literally said that. Everything you're saying, I said already. I said you have a bias towards when you think of the word aggression, you think of a certain connotation, but the word itself does not mean that. Is what I'm saying to you. You just have a certain attachment or feeling towards the word aggression. That's what I literally explained to you before you said it. You didn't have to say it.
That's what I say.
I literally said it already.
All right. So
we're gonna go ahead and finish with Viz. We're gonna finish with Viz. Nobody else talk after Viz. I don't care if he's addressing you. We're about to get
all right. So to Ash's point, So to Ash's point, that's fair, and I could believe that in Jamaica, right? But of course, we're in America, and in American tradition, especially in Black family tradition, men cook. Yeah, they more than likely barbecue or something like that. But for the most part, mama, big mama, auntie, they're the ones that's actually in the kitchen cooking. So when I think about those roles that were there before I was born and what I watched growing up, I knew that if I was going to grandma's house, grandma was cooking. Papa was barbecuing, or he was in the back watching TV, in the garage working on his car, whatever, right? These are the basic traditions that are a staple in the culture at one point. But now, if we are now creating men and women that are stepping away from these traditions, then I think that that's a problem. If we don't have mothers teaching their daughters how to cook, how to make bread from scratch, how to make sweet potatoes or fried turkey or whatever the case may be, if they can't do these basic things for when family is supposed to come together, then I think that that's a tremendous problem, because now we're breaking up the very substance and glue that kept families together. So I don't think that men shouldn't know how to cook, because I know how to cook. I love cooking. But the fact that I picked a woman and made sure that I picked a woman that knows how to cook, that played a tremendous role in that decision, because that is important to me and what I see long term and down the line in family. And I want my kids to see that. So if we break that simple thing, these simple traditions that we had in America, regardless of whatever your sex is, these are just simply the gender roles that played a huge part that we step against. And now we have all of this anarchy that we see now.
All right.
Oh shit.
Ash. John Henry $10 says
I
web
thought you
shows
said
over. Time for the shy. M said all that needs to be said. Thank you and good night, Angie. Rather than put up age on the vagina, put behavior on the vagina instead of smoking. No. Mills, $32 says marriage is illogical. 100 clout gel from the other night. AP, $20 says I'm normally 50-50 with Cloud's perspective, but he's 100% right about the women with D. I don't care.
Freud said it.
Yeah,
Freud
I
said
don't
it.
envy. Great point. More for Dub Sack. Army of, yeah. Proverbs 31, 10,
Yahweh.
31 of a virtuous woman. Yahweh. AP, $5 says Ty and Amira, ladies. That's for adding balance to this conversation. Great points. AP again. $5 says what you bring to the table isn't about money, but it shows what you value. Devil X 199. Hi, Amira. I've not seen you in a long time. Welcome back. $9.99. Amira is right. Same thing in a lot of African countries. If she's beautiful, virgin, well educated, come from upper class, family, her dowry will be very expensive. AP again, $10. Me and my brother, stop letting women dictate your terms. She want an 8-bedroom home and your terms are 3 bedrooms. Leave her at the restaurant and let them be single by choice. You lead, don't follow. AP again, $2 says raise your hand if that's your smoke detector. Mills, $2 says Ash. What's up? Mills says he's shooting a shot, Ash, for you. I ain't paying attention. Yeah, Mills says he's shooting his shot. I am Simmons, 1999. Here's the real issue. Broken families, broken village, broken culture. A lot of us don't even know our neighbors. Village back in the day and pretty much today used to aid in young men and women in finding husbands. And Jay Simmons again. Real, broken, broken, broken. A of don't know neighbors back the end much use aid young and in brides. Today's Western culture doesn't do that anymore. Devil Games 199 says go read Corinthians 1, Corinthians 11, 2-16, then come back. Big at $10. There's nothing about you that's threatening to me. And Jesus said, change the battery in your smoke detector. I guess you don't listen to him either. Lastly, Big Ant, $10. Luis is correct. On Christmas, I cut the power off to my sister's house, and except for my nephew and who I showed what to do, was the only one who didn't grab his phone first. That's sad. Thank everybody has contributed to the platform. Appreciate y'all. I want to thank everybody that has dropped off and still present. Catch y'all on the next one. Y'all make sure y'all enjoy y'all Wednesdays. Thank you. And we are out.